All right, Wednesday morning. It is day 2 of horse camp. It is quiet right now. Way out there, they're doing some type of poem, some type of horse activity. And don't mind the congrats sign that has been there for probably 6 or 7 weeks. High quality balloons though. We stayed up this long, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing today. Just have not taken that down. So this morning it was interesting because I was doing my morning time, quiet times, self-reflection time. I do a lot of stuff in the morning before everybody gets up. I have to get up at about 5 o'clock in order to do that. And my daughter comes in, I don't know what time. I think it was like 6:15. So she got up a little bit earlier than normal. And with kids, it's kind of random. Sometimes they'll get up at 5:30. Some days it's 7, especially in the summer. It's very random. So my daughter Dagny comes in. She does 2 things. One, she gets on my Vibe board, which if you don't know what a Vibe board is, if you're a teacher or a coach of any kind, especially working online digitally or virtually, get a Vibe board. One of the best tools I've invested in as a business coach. And she gets on there and she starts looking at her 5 priorities. So a couple days ago, I sent a message about how I sat each of my kids down and we picked five categories where they were going to work on certain things this summer. And so she came in and she opened up that list and she jotted down a few notes. Specifically, she jotted down what her specific goal was for horse riding this summer. So that was good. I was happy with that. So she was taking time to self-reflect, and that was just a microcosm of what I do every single day. And some days I do this in 45 minutes. Some days it's 2 hours to 3 hours. I can kind of overlap and get into some business conversations with myself, maybe do a little bit of work depending on what I feel like I'm being called or directed to do that day. So, but daughter comes back in maybe 30 minutes later, and everybody in the family here this week, yesterday and today, is preparing for horse camp. So we're hosting about 12 kids here on our farm these 2 days, all things horse related. So 4 hours of nonstop go as the kids are here. But prior to that, of course, we're getting prepared. We're getting the house prepared. We're getting things ready for these kids to show up. And my kids are doing a great job helping out. Amanda's leading the whole thing. I'm in the support role, like whatever stuff needs cleaned up, fixed, moved, picked up. I'm also the videographer. But anyway, Dagny comes in and she says, "Daddy, all you're doing is she calls it my Bible time or my God time, and that is part of what I do, but it's not everything I'm doing in the morning." She's like, "That's all you do?" And then yesterday she made a funny comment. She's like, "All you do is like do your Bible time and then you mow grass. That's like all you do." It's like, it's funny because there's truth in it, even though it's funny. There's truth in what our kids see us doing is going to have an impact on them. They're gonna notice that about us, and they're gonna think that that's what we do. And I've been spending a lot of time the last couple months on my farm, getting the farm prepared to take some time away from work. And this is all intentional, by the way. But the kids notice it, and the kids pick up on it, and they actually pick up on things very quickly. So she comes into me and she says, "This is all you do. You're not doing anything. You're not helping," and blah, 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 blah. And I just smiled because I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing I do every single morning, and that's taking care of me first. I need to do the things to take care of myself, to energize myself, to refill my own cup so that I can then take care of others. And this is an interesting topic because it can be viewed very selfishly. And in my opinion, it's wrong. Now, there's a fine line there. It's not like I'm going out and playing golf in the morning before I do anything to help my family. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But on a daily basis, every single day, as what's normal for me, I get up earlier than everybody else generally. It's actually about 99.9% of the time. unless there's some type of freak situation where a child will get up before me. Usually that's because they're sick. But it's me getting up, and it's me doing my things, the things that I value, the things that I know are going to energize me. So for me, that's spending time with God, that's meditating, that is reading the Bible, that is reviewing my day prior, business-wise. I review my day. What did I accomplish? What did I not accomplish? What have I projected out for this week? What do I need to do today to make sure I'm on track with that? I look at myself, look at my body. How did I eat yesterday? Did I eat well? Did I not eat well? Did I exercise? Am I doing the things day by day? And if I look at that every day, I can't get too far off track at all. And then I can just make a quick adjust and pivot in order to make up for whatever I might have done wrong. So she comes in and she says, you're not doing this. We need you to do that. Well, the reality was that I needed to do the things I needed to do first. And I spent about 2.5 hours doing that stuff this morning. I had some work stuff I needed to get done today before I can go outside and help with the camp. Now, there were a few things that needed to be done by a certain time, and I was able to get those done to help them out. But now that I've done the most important things that I needed to do today, now I'm available to help them with whatever they need. And I'm stress-free, and I'm just like, whatever you need, I'm here to help. Now, the flip side of that, if I wasn't able to get those things done that I wanted to do first thing this morning, I would probably be stressed. I know I would be stressed because they would be needing me and they would be asking things of me. However, I would be in my mind thinking, I've got these other things I got to do. And I would be constantly in my mind thinking, I really need to come away from this situation and go do the things I need to do. And I'd be thinking about those things all day, and I would be stressed about it and having a negative impact on my day. It would also have a negative impact on my attitude towards the other people that I was going out to serve and help, my family in this case. So the same thing can be said about your business. Let's say you're getting everything ready. Like today, for example, I'm doing family stuff today. But a normal day would be business stuff. So it would be like, okay, take care of your physical, take care of your spiritual, take care of your family, and then go to work. Then do your business stuff. So in the circle that I come from, the coaching circle, the mastermind groups that I've been involved in the last several years, we call it the core four: body, being, balance, and business. And we say, do the core four before you hit the door, meaning get all those things done and addressed before you go to work, before you leave your house, so that you will be fully energized and be able to give everything you can to your business while you're in the confines of that business for that day. Now, that might be working from home. It might be going to your office. So the idea of actually hitting the door isn't really that literal, but it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. And so the idea of energizing yourself before you can give to others also keeps happening throughout the day. You have to be very self-aware. What are things that trigger you that you can find yourself saying, oh, well, why is that triggering me? Why am I getting anxious? Why am I maybe being short with somebody? Why am I maybe not giving something my full effort and attention? What is it for me inside of myself that I need to maybe fill back up my cup? And you can think about this literally from an energy standpoint when you think about food. I use the term hangry a lot. We even use it with the horses. Like the horses are getting hangry because in the morning they're outside at night. This time of year they're outside at night, and in the morning they know they're about to get fed, but they're very hungry at that point. They start acting full. They start running up and down the pastures, starting acting real crazy because they're not full. They haven't been fed. And that goes for us spiritually, that goes for us physically, and that also goes for the amount of time that we spend with the people that we love. I might get irritated in a work situation because I've got some stuff going on at home that's not quite fulfilling me. It's all about finding the right balance here. So for me, what I've learned to understand is that finding that right balance starts with your ability to assess yourself, your ability to look in the mirror every single day and check yourself. And so there's a lot of ways to do that. There's longer term periods of time where you might want to measure yourself or check yourself. So what I'm talking about is something that I do daily, but I also do a weekly check-in, and I talked about that the other day. There's a series of questions that I go through, and it takes a little bit longer. There's a monthly review that I do. Again, it's just thinking about things at a more higher level. And then there's a quarterly and an annual way to do that. And to me, these time frames make sense because I've seen them work in practice. I've seen them work in my personal individual life, and I've also seen them work inside of businesses. And this is what I've been coaching businesses on for the last 5 years when it comes to their planning. Because I worked inside of a business prior to becoming a business coach, where I saw this meeting cadence of annual, quarterly, weekly, and even going into a daily huddle, what we called it in the workplace. It was just so effective because you took those longer term goals, like let's call it an annual, and say, okay, what do I really want? And you frame it in a sense of like setting a goal that might seem unachievable. And you might say, well, why would you set an unachievable goal? Well, isn't that setting yourself up for failure? Well, that's not the point. The point is to think beyond your current self. The point is to say, well, I don't really think I can do that, but I actually want that. So start to think in the mindset of what would I have to do, or who would I have to become in order to get that thing that I want. This could be a business goal, this could be a personal goal. And when you start thinking about it like that, then you might start thinking more so about things that aren't on your current to-do list versus your inbox of emails that are in all these lists of things that are right in front of you. And it helps you reprioritize and set better goals. So that's what, you get this disconnection between what I'm doing every day and what I really want. And when you don't take time away to think about what you really want and think about it in a state where you're not being distracted by all this little minutia. That's why whenever we do annual meetings and even quarterlies with teams and myself, we encourage people to go off-site. Go off-site from your office, leave your home if you work out of home, because there's distractions all around us. I found this out when I first started my own business. I was in a different house than I am right now. But when I started my own business, I realized that I'm hearing a distraction. It sounds like a frog. I think it's my TV. But there's distractions everywhere, right? That was actually just a perfect example as it was happening. If you've got something going on in your home and you hear something that's out of the normal, or literally just walking into the kitchen and seeing a mess, my tendency was to respond to that situation, clean up the kitchen, or go find out, who rang the doorbell. And so that was really a big hurdle that I had to overcome when I first was starting my own business. I would get out of the office a lot. I would go to Starbucks back then and just do a lot of planning and thinking stuff back then, because I knew if I stayed at home, I was going to be constantly distracted by all the stuff around me. Now I go to Starbucks, I don't really care about their distractions. I don't care about what's going on around me there, because it's not my thing. It's not my issue. It's not my problem. So I was able to focus, right? So it took me some time to really learn how to work from home. This is why not a lot of people are successful working from home, because you have to intentionally deal with those distractions and be able to, compartmentalize your workspace and literally be able to step away and be like, okay, I'm going to work and I'm going to focus on work for the next 3 or 4 hours and things like that. This is where things like time blocking come into play. But I'm facing the same challenges at my new house now because it's just a different environment. So, but what do I do to deal with that? I go back to what are my daily things that I do. I'm always checking in every day with myself. And so when we moved here, I had to find my space, and that ended up being in my office. But for the first couple of weeks when I was here, just moving in here, it was hard to get back into my daily rhythm. So I've been doing this for 5-6 years now. Slight tweaks here and there. Even, I've really dialed it in for myself how to start my day. And I'm not perfect on it. I'm not trying to be perfect on it. I let it kind of ebb and flow. Sometimes after I might go 3 months doing the exact same thing, and then I might need to flip it up a little bit. But the whole point is self-awareness and self-fulfillment before you can really take care of other people. So think about that. Are you taking care of yourself the first thing you do every day? Are you setting priorities longer term and making sure that you're checking in on those priorities or those goals? And are you doing that? Are you giving yourself enough time and space to be able to do that every morning before you go out and deal with your family and deal with your business?